started in dance probably like 15 years ago now, almost. So jazz, urban, contemporary, dabbled in a bunch of like world styles. I did a dance degree at U of C and the professional training program at Decidedly Jazz, and was kind of gearing up towards being a company dancer until I just realized that that was not like a healthy or happy lifestyle for me. So kind of just took some time off to explore life and like wellness. I had just seen it, I guess, mostly at festivals that I had been to. I remember one aerial hoop performance at Burning Man in particular that was just like the most mind-blowing dance I had ever seen. So that was quite inspiring because I knew that I had the dance background to make that happen also, I hoped. And then I got involved in it because I graduated with a dance degree and Googled dance jobs and found that Pole Junkies was hiring, and it said they would train you in pole, and they also did aerial yoga and aerial hoop, so it kind of seemed like the proper foot in the door to go after. Lyra, or aerial hoop, is what I do the most of, which is basically just a steel hoop in the air. Most popular that you would see is probably aerial silks, so that's what everyone kind of thinks of first, which is like this, but two of them, a lot longer. There's aerial sling or hammock, which is when you turn one silk into a loop. It's usually rigged to a single point rather than double like this, so that it's a little bit more like a silk. There's trapeze, which you can do static, spinning, or flying. Pretty much if you can like weld it, people have done it. Aerial specifically, just finding the places to train, and being able to rig your equipment first of all.
Finding good training space has been probably one of the bigger challenges for circus artists. Now that's not to say that every circus artist requires an engineered aerial rigging ceiling system, but a lot do. And that's one of the things that I'm really happy with what Flip has been able to provide to the circus community, is a really good training space and a really safe training space. In about 2005, I realized that there was a real need to reinvent the sport of gymnastics. It had a lot of, I guess, negative preconceived notions of you have to be a certain age, you have to be a certain body type, you have to be a certain size to participate in gymnastics. And so in an effort to reinvent a sport that I grew up with, I turned to circus. And I thought, wow, this is a great way to put a spin on gymnastics. And so I started introducing circus into the gymnastic programs that I was running in Calgary in about 2006, 2007. And at that time, circus hadn't really caught on. Cirque du Soleil had made great inroads in exposing the world to, amazing human circus acts, and that was kind of like I guess a impetus or a springboard for getting more involved with circus as a part of gymnastics. So I like to call what we do at Flip Factory gymnastics-based activities, of which circus would be one. A lot of circus artists out there are wanting to make their living doing what they enjoy doing. And to do that, we need to work together as a community to provide these opportunities and to make it viable for the individual circus artist. In Calgary, people that run circus organizations, for the most part, are putting in full-time hours, are making it a job. A lucrative job? Well, that's debatable. I think you do it because you love promoting circus, but most of the professional artists that I'm aware of, that I know of, have other jobs, whether it be coaching children in circus arts or working a day job. It's often something that isn't going to be a full-time sustainable income unless you're touring with an organization like Cirque Louise or Cirque du Soleil.
Dog walking is my favorite side job. I was serving for a while I was in the professional training program, and a little bit after that. But I tried to kind of get out of anything that was pulling my energy in the wrong direction or seemed to be draining me, which included serving. And right now I'm living with my dad so that I have the freedom to just take the gigs I want and pursue jobs that I feel good about, instead of having that sort of looming panic about being able to pay rent or feed yourself and all of that. From my experience, what I need more of is those event production companies or talent networks that are actually making the shows happen. Because for me, I can do all this dancing, but if I don't have the networking or the venue or the audience, then there's no point.
We're going to roll into the silk. Into the silk and lift around. Yeah. Traditionally, I'm a dancer. I grew up dancing, and I wanted to dance professionally. And I saw that there was opportunity in Mexico, so I went to Mexico, and I got a job there after 3 days of being there. Once I started working in Mexico, I realized that everyone required an alternate skill, and I had no alternate skill. I decided to start with aerial silks. The biggest difference is that in Mexico, I was performing in aerial silks 2 to 3 times a week at the height of my aerial silk time in Mexico. But here, I might get 3 or 4 gigs a year in aerial silks. I think that there's so much potential growth. I think that where we are with the circus community in Calgary is not where we should be and not where we will be. I think that, I see a Calgary with events every other weekend, with different circuses, different companies putting on shows. I see Calgary with students getting as excited about their circus classes as they are about their dance classes. The more people are doing it, the more people are going to want to see it, the more there's going to be a community that actually is going to go out and watch these shows, watch these events. So that's good. We're building momentum.
Recently, getting involved with the Cirque de la Nuit has been pretty rewarding, because I've been watching them for years and known that I want to do that, but hadn't actually had the courage to go and put myself forward to them, because I felt like I wasn't trained enough and ready to perform or whatever. And they actually came knocking on my door after a while of me thinking about it. And it all fit together very well. I've met some really lovely people through them, so it's a good group to be involved with. This month, things have been picking up. So I had a gig booked every weekend, 3 of which were paid, 1 of which was a party in my friend's apartment, which he was willing to pay an honorarium for, but I kind of used it more as rehearsal space and was just grateful to have somewhere to put my pole up, so I told him not to worry about it. I met a lot of really awesome people there, so that's payment enough. For Deja Vu, I have 2 sets that I know of so far. The other ones I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. But my 2 sets within the Base Caravan production will be pole and aerial hoop. So the pole is just solo, but the aerial I'll be doing a duo performance, so not doubles in 1 hoop, but 2 hoops next to each other. So we've got a little bit of choreography that we'll do on the floor, and then some unison in the hoops. And then our second kind of like round up to the ceiling will be a little bit more free form, because we have different kinds of hoops and different kinds of strengths. She's very bendy and I'm more strong than bendy. So we'll try to like show off a little bit of what we can do as individuals as well. I'm hopeful about opportunities going forward in Calgary. I feel like it's taken me so long to like meet all these people, since I keep shifting kind of like the realm that I'm in. But I feel like I'm just starting to get into the circus scene here, so I want to see how that percolates and what opportunities it brings. And you know, one thing leads to the other, I've discovered. So I just have to kind of keep like following the breadcrumbs to see where they're going.